crooked card, ma'am. So anyway, let me start now. I told you, I'll repeat. Only those of you who are with me, who are visible, will be given attendance for this class. Those who have arrived now, arriving, and those who have already arrived, just a repeat note for all of you that please switch on, enable your video cam so that I can see you people. It's not just like you switch it on and then go move around and come back. Okay, don't cheat yourself. Cheating yourself, that's the greatest crime one can do. Then by this feeling very happy and telling, my teacher started, I just switched it on, I was doing something, then I came and gave attendance. Second grade crime. You're all into a noble profession. Leave alone the noble profession. To be the best human being, you should know all this. And imagine if your children do the same thing. Feel happy. Whatever you are doing now to your parents, your children will repeat the same thing, but that is with the compound interest. I'm definitely telling you. Okay, so whatever the opportunity your parents have given, and so be students and be the best human beings. So be honest, be ethical, don't cheat anyone. And first of all, cheating yourself. Don't be happy telling that, oh, my attendance was given somebody. No, that is the worst ever thing that you can do. And you will receive all that back, when you don't want. That is from your children or from your own kith and kin. Okay, so we were talking about ovarian tumors all these days. Okay, I asked you people to name the ovarian tumors and you're struggling. I don't know why. So right or wrong, you should be able to speak out. Okay, express it. Doesn't matter, even if the answer is wrong. Your friends may just laugh at you, but feel proud because your friend is not able even to speak out, even to give a wrong answer. He or she is not capable. Okay.
Ma'am, serous tumors, mucinous tumors.
Yes, very good.
Actually, there was lots of disturbance 5 minutes back, ma'am. Someone had unmuted and lots of disturbances had occurred, ma'am.
Okay, so now there's no disturbance.
Now it's very clear, ma'am. Clear.
Yes. So serous tumors, mucinous tumors. Are these tumors bilateral or unilateral?
Ma'am, since ovary is a paired organ, ma'am.
Yeah, common sense tells me, madam, they could be bilateral also. That's it.
Bilateral. Yes, ma'am.
So they can be unilateral or bilateral, but most often these serous and mucinous tumors are unilateral. Only one ovary is affected, but about 10% in 10% of cases we say they're bilateral. That's it. Why is it important for us to know? So when you are dealing with a patient, you should know if both the ovaries are involved, what is the most common possibility? All other supporting investigations, complementing, supplementing, all are there. But still, that is what you need to know about. Okay. So let me start my PPT. You can see the PPT, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Metastatic tumors of ovary, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So this is anyway a trial session also for us on GoToMeeting. We have used it successfully for training programs. Anyway, so this is what I was asking you. I didn't ask you to classify ovarian tumors. I just asked you to name the tumors, right? So can you read it out, Akshay? Classification of ovarian tumors. So just read. Yes, the first category is tumors of surface epithelium. So what comes under this?
Serous tumors, mucinous tumors.
Not clear, but still okay. Serous tumors, mucinous tumors. Okay. So next, Sivya, can you read what comes under serous tumors?
Serous cystadinoma.
Very good.
Borderline serous tumor.
Very good.
Serous cystadenocarcinoma.
Fantastic. See, when under serous tumors, we have benign and malignant. What is benign? That is serous cystadenoma. What is malignant? Serous cystadenocarcinoma. So easy to remember. But remember, in ovarian tumors, there's something that is in between. So what do we call that as? It is neither this way, that way. It is borderline. So 3 categories under serous tumors. Sanjana, can you read the mucinous tumors? There are 2 Sanjanas. Whichever Sanjana is ready can take it.
Mucinous cystadenoma, borderline mucinous tumor, mucinous cystadenocarcinoma.
See, exactly like serous cystadenocarcinoma. Under mucinous tumors, we see mucinous cystadenoma, which is totally benign, and mucinous cystadenocarcinoma, which is totally malignant. So there comes another category, which is in between. So what is the terminology we use for this? Borderline mucinous tumors. Very good. So next 3 tumors, Pramod, can you read? Which Pramod?
Endometrial tumors, clear cell tumors, Brenner tumors.
Very good. So when we say endometrioid, Ananya, what does it mean to you? Endometrioid. We have been using such terminologies. Endometrioid. If you say ananioid, not amyloid, what does it mean? We don't usually use the term. Likhit? What is epithelioid?
From the epithelium.
Epithelioid. What is carcinoid? What is amyloid? So something that resembles. Amyloid is a material which is starch-like. Epithelioid is something that resembles epithelial cell. So endometrioid is something that resembles endometrium. Okay, oid is resembling something like that. Okay. Clear cell tumors, endometrioid, and Brenner tumors. Where else have you heard about clear cell tumors?
Renal tumors.
Very good. So renal tumor. The moment we talk about renal cell carcinoma, the other terminology for this is clear cell carcinoma. The cells are all clear. Fine. So the next category is germ cell tumors. So who can read the classification, the tumors that come under this? Somebody who can volunteer? Manas? Manas is absent. So there?
Present.
Yeah, read.
Germ cell tumors, teratomas, in that benign or mature adult teratoma, benign cystic teratoma, benign solid teratoma, malignant or immature teratoma, monodermal or specialized teratoma, in that stroma ovari and carcinoid tumor.
So this I have taught you, right? Teratomas, yes. They could be benign, malignant, or specialized. This is a frequently asked short note topic for you. So benign, how are the benign teratomas of ovary usually? Another Ananya Prabhu. How are the benign tumors of, how are the dermoids of ovary?
Ma'am?
Yeah, how are the dermoids of ovary? I've told you how we can differentiate ovarian dermoid from where else dermoid occurs? Please mute. Somebody, disturbance from someone, please mute. So how, in what way ovarian teratomas differ from testicular teratomas? Mohammed Arfan? He's yet to sit in the class now. You read this, Ananya Prabhu?
Ma'am.
Read this. Benign cystic teratoma, dermoid cyst. So in the ovary, dermoids, teratomas are usually cystic. Okay. So what comes next under germ cell tumors? Someone read from here.
Germinoma.
This germinoma.
Endodermal sinus yolk sac tumor. Choriocarcinoma.
Choriocarcinoma.
Others will
Others are-
include embryonal carcinoma, polyembryoma, mixed germ cell tumors.
Very good. Okay, next is sex spot stromal tumors. Someone else take it up. Mansi, can you read the sex spot stromal tumors? Read these three. So that was about the classification. Now, of all this, and the classification, you should know that 10% of ovarian cancers are secondary tumors. That's how whenever we want to reclassify tumors, we always classify in one way, that is primary. We say primary tumors and metastatic or secondary tumors. So 10% of ovarian, 5 to 10% of ovarian tumors can be secondary tumors also. Then how this primary enters into the ovary? So this may occur, can you here just go back before and see? So metastasis may occur by lymphatic or hematogenous route, but direct extension from adjacent organs also occurs. So we are going to learn about special tumor today. Can you all identify this? Can anyone tell me what it is?
Teratoma
Very
sample
good.
specimens. ma'am.
Teratoma, correct. So anything else you want to add to
With
this?
the uterus also shows fibroid, ma'am, for leiomyoma also, ma'am.
Okay, maybe. So bilateral ovarian tumor, and it is bilateral dermoid cyst. It is cystic, right? You can see a lot of hair here. This is fat bilateral dermoid cyst of the ovary. Okay. So next, what's happening? No. Okay. So what is this? See, most common primary site from where the metastasis occurs to the ovary, we should remember, are primary in the breast, primary in the gastrointestinal tract. Two important things. So in GIT, it is either from the stomach or the colon. And rare other sites are, of course, appendix, pancreas, and all this genital tract. Okay. So what is this? What do you see on the surface of the skin of the breast here? See how the lymphatics are involved. So you can see those tiny depressions there. Audible? Am I audible? There's a PUD orange.
Yes.
PUD orange.
Exactly, correct. So,
UD orange.
Excuse me, ma'am, we cannot hear you.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
No, now
Yes,
we
ma'am.
can hear, ma'am.
Okay. So this is a cut opened viscous, hollow viscous, okay? Look at the mucosa, the folds. That tells you what organ it is. It is stomach. So it is not large intestine, it's not small intestine. We know how the rugae are in the large intestine, the hostrations. Okay, so stomach that is cut open. What do we see inside the stomach mucosa? There is a large ulcer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So this ulcer, look at the edges. It has raised everted margins. So this tells us it's a malignant ulcer. So what malignant ulcer is this? It is CA stomach, carcinoma of the stomach. So ulcerative. It could be ulcerative, it could be a fungative or a polypoidal mass. So with respect to stomach, you should remember any ulcer which is large, more than 3 centimeter, usually is malignant. So what is the other ulcer that can occur in the stomach and first part of duodenum? Very good. Peptic ulcer. Okay, they're very tiny. Okay, there is a dictum with respect to carcinoma of the stomach. They say cancer ulcerates. Just remember here what I am telling you. Cancer ulcerates, but ulcer rarely cancerates. What is the meaning of that? Cancer ulcerates. That means a malignant tumor of the stomach presents as a ulcer, as an ulcer, whereas ulcer rarely cancerates. The peptic ulcer, one of the complication, very rarest complication of peptic ulcer is peptic ulcer becoming malignant. That's only about less than 1%. Okay, so cancer ulcerates, ulcer rarely cancerates. So why did I show you the picture of carcinoma breast and ulcer cancer ulcer or CA stomach? What is this? The third specimen? Is it stomach? No. See, look at the rugosity here. Look at the mucosa. It's an organ that is cut open. Which organ is this? Anatomy you have learned?
Intestine.
Very good. So it's large intestine. Now you can see a mass lesion here. And this mass lesion is both ulcerative as well as proliferative. So we call it as ulceroproliferative lesion. So this is carcinoma of the colon, colonic carcinoma. So why did I show you these pictures in relation to
Intestine.
intestine? Correct, large intestine. So CA, carcinoma breast, carcinoma of the stomach, carcinoma of the intestine. So these are the primaries that usually metastatize to the ovary. So just 10 minutes, I'm going to talk about Krukenberg tumor. So when we say Krukenberg, naturally we wonder who is this Krukenberg. So this tumor was named after this Frederick Krukenberg, who reported that he reported this, what was thought to be a new primary ovarian malignancy. So all the morphological variants of other malignancies were known. So when he saw this new type microscopically, so he said there's some new type. So what name could be given? So till you do Namakarana, so the name went with him. They called it as Krukenberg. And after he said there is some new type, so 6 years later, they proved that this is not a primary ovarian tumor. This is metastatic ovarian tumor. So Krukenberg tumor, a frequently asked short note topic. So when you see this terminology, you should know that it is a metastatic ovarian tumor. First point, metastatic ovarian tumor. So what are the primaries from where metastasis occurs to the ovary? 3 pictures, just remember. CA breast, carcinoma breast. Second is carcinoma, malignancies of GIT, especially malignancies of, that is carcinoma of the stomach and colonic carcinomas. So other carcinomas are rare, they can also metastatize. So Krukenberg tumor is a very distinctive bilateral tumor, metastatic to ovaries by transcoelomic spread. So we are getting more and more terminologies and information about it. So it is a distinctive tumor. It is a metastatic tumor that is present in the ovary. So bilateral, it's a paired organ. So both the ovaries are involved. Bilateral tumor. And the tumors I told you, which are primary, which metastatize to the ovary, CA breast, CA stomach, CA colon. Okay. So then how do they metastatize there? The mechanism we have already learned in neoplasia. Should know that it is transcoelomic spread. So what is transcoelomic spread? I don't discuss that now. You know, it is across the peritoneal cavity. So transcoelomic metastasis refers to dissemination of malignant tumors throughout the surfaces and organs of the abdominal and pelvic cavity, which are covered by peritoneum. So this is across the peritoneal cavity. It goes and metastatizes to the ovaries. So this is a repetition now. The tumor is generally secondary to gastric carcinoma, but other primary sites where it can occur are colon. We have seen colon and breast, rarely appendix. See, appendicular malignancy itself is so rare. So rarely, so whenever we have learned this now, Krukenberg is a metastatic tumor, bilateral, primary should be there. So sometimes when we think of this tumor as secondary and search thoroughly for a primary, we may not get to see a primary tumor at all. So then, what do we say? We say it could be primary Krukenberg tumor. So there is a variety of tumor, which Krukenberg tumor, which is also referred to as a primary Krukenberg tumor. When with extensive search, we do not find a primary elsewhere to say that this is metastatic, then we say it is primary ovarian Krukenberg. So how do these Krukenberg tumors occur? Now, grossly, if I showed you dermoid cyst, you were it was so easy for you to identify that they were dermoid cysts. Then how do we identify Krukenberg tumors? How do they appear grossly? Bilateral is 1 point, right? Usually these two tumors, they have a rounded or kidney-shaped appearance. They're solid masses. The surface may slightly appear bossylated, and cut section shows gray-white to yellow color. Sometimes it could show the shiny mucinous appearance. So firm, fleshy tumor. Sometimes it can have hemorrhage necrosis. So this is how it looks. So this is uterus, bilateral ovarian tumors. They look similar. They're solid. We're not touching the tumor. We're just looking at the tumor. So the appearance itself tells us it is quite tough. It is not cystic. It is solid, right? So the surface has bossylations and somewhat a kidney shape, reniform or kidney shapes. This is the gross appearance of Krukenberg tumor. Then what do we see microscopically? So it's a special type of microscopic carcinoma where we see signet ring cells. What are signet ring cells? Where else have you learnt about signet ring cells? Histology, just recollect. Where the cell is round or oval.
Adipose tissue, ma'am.
Very good, excellent. Who said that? Alima, who said?
Alina, ma'am.
Alina, very good. Adipocyte. Adipocyte has an eccentric nucleus and a rim of cytoplasm, and whatever is there in the cell, it is not seen to us and in HND because the fat which is there in the adipocyte is dissolved. So we use so many chemicals like alcohol, xylene, chloroform to make sections, slides. So all the fat is dissolved. That's how it looks. So now remember another entity, another type of cell, which also looks like a signet ring cell. So that is the microscopic appearance of Krukenberg tumor. So why is it signet ring? And the signet ring cells are all separated by quite cellular proliferation of the stroma. Stroma separates these. I'll show you the picture. This is from your book, Signet ring cells. So unless you know this entity, the moment probably you look at it, you say, yeah, what is familiar to the adipocyte comes into picture. So all these are the signet ring cells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups you can make out, and they're all separated by sarcoma-like stroma, spindle cell stroma. So this is HND, how it appears. So histologically, what we see plenty of signature shaped cells which are present richly or separated by richly proliferative ovarian stroma, spindle cell stroma. See now, is it clear? All these are the signaturing cells. Why are they signaturing? Adipose site has adipose tissue fat. So the fat that is accumulated in the cytoplasm has pushed the nucleus to the periphery. So why are these cells signaturing cells? So these tumors are mucin secreting cells. So what is present in these cells? It is a mucin. So mucin that accumulates in the cytoplasm or in the cell, it pushes the nucleus to the periphery. And look at the nucleus. This is not bland as you see in adipose tissue. This is quite large. It is angry looking. What's the meaning of angry looking when I say? What is angry looking? Benign or malignant? Angry looking is benign or malignant?
Malignant, ma'am.
Very good. So it has got more chromatin, more amount of DNA. That's why it looks rich. Okay. So your normal face and face with blushing, which looks more red? Normally also a lot of blood supply is there, no? So whereas blushing, when we say the face looks so red, because of a gush of blood in the dilated vessel. So all these nuclei are angry looking because they have more chromatin, that is more amount of DNA. That is one of the characteristics of a malignant cell, right? Hyperchromatic nucleus. And how do we say that these cells contain mucin? How can we demonstrate? How can we say that these cells contain mucin? What has to be done? What has to be done? A special stain has to be done. Very good. Staining. Okay. Normal staining is HND. So here it is something apart from HND. Okay, a special stain. Look at these cells now. Special stain is done. So simple stain is PAS stain. PAS stands for para-iodic acid Schiff stain. So it stains the mucin. It's epithelial mucin. The tumor cells secrete mucin. Look at these cytoplasm now. It's looking different, right? The color is different, somewhat magenta color and peripheral nucleus. So these are the cells, signaturing cells, which have mucin within the cytoplasm. So what do we see? Grossly in a Krukenberg tumor, it's a bilateral ovarian tumor. It is solid. It looks kidney shaped and size, of course, may vary. Then microscopically, typical appearances, plenty of signaturing shaped cells separated by ovarian stroma. What do we see here? What are these? What is arrangement of these cells? How are they arranged? I'm showing you the shape also. They're all swimming. Where are they swimming? This is a pool. Bluish, light blue color. Can you make out lightish blue color? Light blue color. Extracellular substance. These are pools of mucin. Some of the mucin secreting carcinomas, they produce so much of mucin. So one type of carcinoma in the breast, one type in the stomach. So we call them as colloid carcinomas. So much of mucin is produced. So that helps penetration of the tumor cells also. So because they split the walls of the intestine and all that. So these are can you make out their glandular arrangement, right? The tumors cells which are arranged in glandular pattern. So here still it's not differentiated. So pools of mucin, tumor cells arranged in the form of acidia glands. What is it? I've told you it's tumor. I've told you background has mucin. I've told you they're present in the form of acinine. What name can you give it?
Adenoma, ma'am. Adenoma.
Malignant. I said malignant.
Adenoma, ma'am.
Adenoma is benign. Malignant?
Adenocarcinoma.
Very good. Very good. Adenocarcinoma. What type of adenocarcinoma is this? So I've shown you a lot of secretion at the background. So what can you call this as?
Mucinous.
Correct. Mucus secreting or mucinous adenocarcinoma. Okay, now all the tumor cells are not very well arranged in the form of glands. Okay, but still we can make out it is adenocarcinoma. How do we grade adenocarcinomas? Any carcinoma? Well differentiated, moderately differentiated, poorly differentiated, right? So well differentiated, almost all the cells would be arranged in the form of glands, but there'll be overcrowding and many cells, all the features of malignancy. So here still we can make out they are malignant, they're adenoid, they're arranged in the form of glands, but not all the cells are arranged in the form of glands. Is it well differentiated or poorly differentiated? Camera. Is it well differentiated or poorly differentiated?
So this is not well differentiated. This is not poorly differentiated. This is moderately differentiated, right? Poorly differentiated, we find it very difficult to say it is adenoid. So here we can make out, but not all are so well differentiated. This is moderately differentiated. So such type of adenocarcinomas also can be seen in the ovary metastatic, but we do not call this as a Krukenberg tumor. So to which are the primary tumors that metastatize to the ovary. So when we see metastatic ovarian tumors, they're bilateral and microscopy shows signet ring cells. So we definitely make a diagnosis of what tumor? Which tumor?
Krukenberg tumor.
Very good, Krukenberg tumor. And there is an entity, whenever we say Krukenberg tumor, it's always metastatic, but you should know that primary Krukenberg tumor also exists. So when we cannot find primary elsewhere to call this as metastatic, we may say it is primary, but primary usually does not have that signet ring type also. It is to be like adenocarcinoma. Yeah. Now we have Samiksha there. Can you see? Can you see Samiksha? How can I enable her?
Ma'am, is it seen, ma'am?
Yeah. Can you see on one screen?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am, we can see, ma'am.
Yes. What is it that is seen there? Shown. I'll post a picture of that to you people. Samiksha is in the museum. So from there, she is showing you one of the Krukenberg tumors that is mounted. Okay, I still remember this patient was just 19-year-old female who had bilateral ovarian mass. So such a young age, yes. So GI tumors, especially malignancies of the colon, colonic carcinomas are known to occur even in the first decade. I've seen a child, just 8-year-old child who had colonic malignancy, carcinoma. So that's how, this was just a very young girl, 19-year-old, who presented with bilateral ovarian mass, and then it turned out to be Krukenberg. Then further investigations, so showed a mass in the colon. Okay, prognosis is quite poor here. I'll post a picture of this specimen which is mounted and kept in the museum later. Okay. So that's about Krukenberg tumor, a short-lived topic. This is only to try out this GoToMeeting we have used successfully for a small group, 30 people, 30 or 40, including as resource persons, but I just wanted to try it out for a class. Okay. So just to change from the routine, because you are so much used to seeing the PPTs, right? So tomorrow when you come back, each PPT may look like a teacher to you. Yes, of course, it gives you knowledge, but I'm feeling somewhere the teacher-student relationship is going off. That's it. So all of you are safe, right? Happy at home? Happy at home? You don't want to come back?
Ma'am, any date for reopening of college, ma'am?
No, the debate is going on. So hope to see you all here as early as possible, but don't waste your time. Keep learning. Okay, be in touch with your friends, teachers. So keep learning. Otherwise, you get isolated, and once you come back, I don't know whether you can be normal as you were earlier. The way you people are muted, I feel you have lost the communication. So please don't do that. Okay, you're all bright students, and we want to see you much brighter. Okay, stay safe, take care, and then add a lot to your knowledge, skill, everything. Okay, 24 hours a day you have, so make use of this time very well. Happy, your parents are happy, and this is the time probably everyone, family bonding, and even you and your parents could be very happy. So help them learn more skills, and then keep on adding knowledge. Okay, so whatever, like if you were to be here, what you would have learned, but you need to learn more than that. So much precious time, so don't waste it. Take care, stay safe, take care of everybody. You're all flowering doctors. Take care of everybody. It's very sorry, very sad to see our friends, our classmates, and our seniors, our teachers just succumbing to COVID. Very painful, very painful. So this is what probably as doctors we have got from the God. And even everywhere, even though you can see my team of doctors, pathologists, so they're also posted, and they're also working in the hospital in the COVID wards. Everybody is working. So let us pray God. It's only who He is the one who can end this pandemic, and of course with the help of all of us. People are not wearing masks, no social distancing. They say, and how can I get? As if COVID will be everybody. No distinction whether you're male, female, you're rich or poor, you're a teacher, you're a student, you're whatever, So it is infecting everybody. So take care. Thank you. It was a very short topic. I just wanted to try on GoToMeeting. So I've done it. So I could see some of your faces. I'm happy. Okay. Shall I end? Say yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Your gestures at least would tell me that you are there. You're interacting with me. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Ananya Prabhu only smiles. Divya's awake. Good. Shreya, Abhinav, Rakshita, Dhanush, Jayant, Rekhana, Deepak, Naveen, Shashank, and Abhijit, Pramod. Mr. Pramod are there from the beginning. Sanjana Patil and Monisha, Lavanya, Vaniraj. Yes, Vedant, everybody. Okay, take care. Okay, enrich yourself. Thank you. Thank you. See you all. Bye.